The library was hushed, a sanctuary of whispers and rustling pages, where the scent of aged paper mingled with the faint aroma of coffee from the nearby cafe. Dust motes danced in the beams of afternoon light filtering through arched windows, casting ethereal glows on the rows of leather-bound tomes. In the heart of this quiet haven sat Elena Voss, a dedicated librarian whose fingers traced the spines of books with the tenderness of a lover. But today, her hands shook as she clutched a faded letter, its words searing her soul like fire. She had come here seeking solace, but the weight of secrets long buried threatened to crush her. As patrons milled about, oblivious to her turmoil, Elena's vision blurred, and she slumped forward onto the oak table, the letter fluttering to the floor. Gasps echoed through the stacks as she fainted. And in that instant, every gaze shifted to her and to the man across the room, her estranged brother, whose cold stare cut like ice through the warmth of the light. Before we delve deeper, if you cherish tales of redemption, family bonds, and the power of truth, pause now to like this video, share it with a loved one in need of inspiration, and subscribe to our channel, Kindness Narratives. Let's unite in spreading narratives that heal wounds and illuminate paths to forgiveness. Elena had always envisioned a life woven from the threads of stories, quiet evenings lost in novels, a cozy apartment filled with shelves of cherished volumes, and a family that stood unbreakable. She had that once, with her brother Marcus, her only kin after their parents' untimely passing. Marcus, a charismatic architect rising in the city's elite circles, had been her protector, her confidant. But shadows crept in when he met Vivien, a glamorous socialite whose allure was as sharp as her ambitions. Whispers of their affair turned to roars when Elena discovered Marcus had embezzled from their family's modest inheritance to fund Vivien's lavish lifestyle. Confronted, Marcus didn't flinch. He accused Elena of jealousy, claiming she had fabricated evidence to sabotage his success. Vivien, with her pearl necklace gleaming like a noose, fueled the fire, spreading rumors that Elena was unstable, unfit to manage their shared estate. Heartbroken and isolated, Elena fought back through the courts, seeking to reclaim what was rightfully hers, not just money, but the legacy of their parents' hard work. The lawsuit dragged on, a labyrinth of depositions and accusations. Each session, Elena endured Vivien's predatory smile, that knowing grin suggesting victory was already hers. Lawyers dissected Elena's life, painting her as a bitter spinster envious of her brother's happiness. Yet Elena held firm to her truth. The forged signatures on bank documents, the hidden accounts traced back to Marcus's firm. She prayed for vindication, for the chance to honor her parents' memory without the stain of betrayal. The day she fainted in the library was no ordinary one. It was the eve of the final hearing, and Elena had retreated there to review the letter, a final plea from their late mother, unearthed from an old trunk, urging unity and honesty. The room had spun as stress overtook her, but paramedics revived her quickly. Insisting she was fine, Elena gathered her resolve and headed to the courthouse the next morning, the letter tucked in her bag like a talisman. The courtroom buzzed with anticipation, journalists scribbling notes, spectators craning for a glimpse of the scandalous siblings. Marcus sat rigidly beside Vivien, her emerald gown a bold statement amid the gray suits. They exchanged smug glances, convinced their high-powered attorney had buried the evidence. Elena, pale but unyielding, placed her hand on the worn Bible and swore to tell the truth. As witnesses took the stand, the air thickened. A forensic accountant detailed the discrepancies, but Marcus's team countered with alibis and deflections. Then came the hook that twisted the tale. An unexpected witness, their childhood nanny, Mrs. Hargrove, now frail but fierce. She hobbled to the stand, her voice quivering yet clear. "I saw it all," she began, recounting how Vivien had coerced Marcus into the scheme, promising him power and passion. But the real bombshell? Mrs. Hargrove produced a hidden recording from years ago, captured on an old phone during a heated argument at the family home. In it, Vivien's voice hissed, "Forge the signatures, or I'll expose your secrets to the world." The courtroom erupted in murmurs. Marcus's face blanched, Vivien's composure fracturing like glass. The judge called for order, adjourning briefly to review the evidence. Elena's heart raced. This was the pivot she hadn't dared hope for. When court reconvened, the judge's gavel fell like thunder. "The evidence is irrefutable," he declared. "Marcus Voss, you are found guilty of embezzlement and fraud. Restitution will be made to Elena Voss in full, with additional penalties." Gasps rippled through the gallery. Marcus slumped, defeated, while Vivien rose abruptly, her heels clicking in hasty retreat. But the bailiff stopped her. Turns out, the recording implicated her in conspiracy. Handcuffs clicked, her emerald gown now a symbol of her downfall. Elena closed her eyes, tears of relief mingling with sorrow for the brother she once adored. The truth had emerged not just from documents, but from the unlikeliest source, a loyal nanny's hidden vigilance. In that moment, the library's quiet sanctuary felt worlds away, yet it was there the story had truly begun. With a letter that unlocked forgotten doors, the fallout was swift. Marcus's firm collapsed under scrutiny, clients fleeing the scandal. He faced jail time, but in a private meeting later, he begged Elena's forgiveness, tears in his eyes. "I was blind," he admitted. Vivien, stripped of her influence, faded into obscurity, her social circle turning their backs. Elena, though scarred, reclaimed the family estate. She transformed part of it into a community library extension, honoring her parents with free reading programs for underprivileged children. Months later, as autumn leaves carpeted the streets, Elena welcomed a new chapter. She adopted a stray cat from the shelter, naming it Whisper, for the secrets it seemed to understand. Evenings found her curled up with books, but now with volunteers and friends who had rallied around her story. She realized betrayal hadn't broken her. It had forged her resilience. Strangers approached her with hugs, inspired by the tale that spread through local news. Proof that truth, like a well-tended flame, could illuminate even the darkest corners. If this narrative of unearthed secrets and familial redemption resonates with you, kindly like this video, share it to uplift someone's day, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Your support amplifies voices of hope and reminds us that every story holds the potential for a brighter ending. But wait, the hook deepens. What if the letter Elena clutched wasn't just a plea, but contained a coded map to a hidden family fortune, one that Vivien had been hunting all along? This revelation came weeks after the trial, when Elena deciphered their mother's elegant script under lamplight. The map led to a safety deposit box, brimming not with gold, but with priceless artifacts, first edition books and heirlooms worth a fortune. Marcus, from behind bars, learned of it and smiled ruefully, knowing it was Elena's to safeguard. Vivien's attempts to claim it failed spectacularly in appeals court. Her greed exposed once more. Elena's life bloomed. She used the proceeds to fund scholarships for aspiring writers, turning pain into purpose. Whisper became her faithful companion, purring as she penned her own memoir, Whispers in the Stacks. Friends gathered for book clubs, laughter echoing where silence once reigned. She even reconciled tentatively with Marcus during visits, forging a fragile bridge over the chasm of betrayal. In the end, Elena stood in her expanded library, sunlight streaming as it had that fateful day. She wasn't just a librarian anymore. She was a beacon. The world, with its twists and turns, had shown her that hooks in stories, like hidden recordings or coded letters, could reel injustice when least expected. And in sharing her tale, she invited others to find their own. Remember, dear viewer, stories like Elena's remind us of the strength in vulnerability. If moved, like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Narratives. We're here to weave more threads of kindness into the fabric of life.